In the middle of the night, a stranger with a cane breaks into the Conroy house. Ella wakes up to the noise and, terrified, rushes to shut the door. When she returns to bed, she's horrified to find the stranger sitting beside her. He calls her by name and tells her not to swear, saying it's a sin. Ella wonders how he knows who she is, but he only replies that he knows many things before grabbing her face. Suddenly, Ella wakes up again, only for the old man to grab her by the neck and lift her, claiming he knows something about her father. At that moment, Ella's dad, Theo, jolts awake from the nightmare and checks on his daughter, who is still sleeping peacefully. He then takes his medication and complains about his recurring nightmares. Later, Theo relaxes by the pool while listening to a meditation podcast meant to help with bad dreams. His wife, Susanna, asks him to pick up Ella since she has work. Theo asks if he can visit her on set the next day, and Susanna agrees with a kiss, though Theo grows irritated when she keeps laughing at texts from a co-worker. The next day, Theo tries to visit Susanna at work, but a guard says his name isn't on the list and refuses to let him in. Because of their age difference, the guard even wonders if Theo is Susanna's father. In the background, Susanna is filming an explicit scene, and Theo forces himself not to react. After a long wait, Theo is finally allowed inside, only to feel uncomfortable again when Susanna hugs a co-worker. She apologizes, complaining that the director is a creep. Theo explains what happened outside, and Susanna swears she added his name. Theo suspects the guard recognized him and thought he was dangerous. Susanna admits she finds that appealing and convinces him to fool around in the car. Afterwards, Susanna jokes about retiring since Theo is wealthy, but he knows she wouldn't be happy that way. Instead, they decide to go on vacation. That night, they book a charming house in the Welsh countryside. Sometime later, the family drives to the holiday house. Theo and Susanna argue about her driving until Ella interrupts by asking if Theo will die first because he's older. Her parents struggle to explain death, and the distraction nearly causes an accident, but Susanna narrowly avoids another car. When they arrive, the house impresses them. Ella runs around excitedly, and Theo finally answers her question. Everyone dies someday, but they'll meet again in heaven. That night, Ella plays with shadow puppets in bed when a human-shaped shadow appears beside hers. She turns in fear, but it's only Theo. She tells him about the shadow, but he dismisses it and tucks her in. Once she hides under the covers, the shadow slips out of her room. Later, Theo tells Susanna the thermostat seems broken and asks her to call the owner, Stetler, since the booking is under her name. Ella sneaks out to spy on her parents, but runs back when she's spotted. In the living room, Theo turns off the lights but can't find the switch for a corner lamp. At 10:35, he goes to the laundry room to turn it off and freezes when he notices a photo on the wall showing a man standing on the basement door with a flashing light. He ignores it and leaves, not noticing the light turn back on. In the bedroom, Susanna is asleep. Theo sits beside her, waking her. She says she had a terrible dream and scolds him for taking so long before falling asleep again. Theo assumes she's joking and goes to sleep, unaware it's now 3:12. He spends the night dreaming of a bathtub, a man with a cane, and a dead woman. When Theo wakes up at 10:46, he's disturbed since he never sleeps in. A note says Susanna and Ella went for a walk. Theo writes in his meditation journal, describing his anger and confusion as a shadow slowly grows behind him. When his pen runs out of ink, he angrily tosses it away. Meanwhile, Theo shops in the village. The shopkeeper recognizes where he's staying and asks if anything has happened yet. Confused, Theo says no. The man asks if he's met Stetler and gives Theo a drafting triangle, telling him to check right angles. Outside, a woman asks Theo how he found the house and tells him that Stetler has already seen him. When Theo returns home, Ella apologizes for what happened to him. Theo angrily confronts Susanna, and they argue about who found the house listing. At dinner, Ella notices the tension while Susanna keeps texting. Later, Susanna bathes, leaving her phone behind. Theo checks her messages but finds nothing suspicious. Still uneasy, he apologizes for his behavior. Unable to sleep, he listens to his meditation podcast and drifts off, only to wake and find his journal now reads, "You should leave now." He doesn't remember writing it. Strange noises follow. His reflection stops moving. A shelf becomes a door. Theo opens it, discovering stairs leading into an impossible basement. Inside, he finds disturbing photographs, including one of himself and Ella, and an empty bottle hidden in Ella's toy. Behind a door, he finds Ella's lifeless body. As water pours from her mouth, Theo panics, trying to wake himself, even harming himself, until he suddenly wakes up in bed. Susanna insists he never left the room. Both agree the house feels wrong and decide to leave. While packing, Susanna explains they'll return to London, though she'll soon be away filming. Later, Theo notices Susanna texting while another phone vibrates inside. Realizing she has a second phone, his paranoia returns. The journal now reads, "You should have left. Now it's too late." Theo confronts Susanna, who admits to an affair. He asks her to leave for the night. Alone with Ella, Theo calms down and promises they'll leave tomorrow. When he notices water splitting unnaturally on the floor, he measures the house and realizes it's larger inside than out. Ella disappears after fetching her jacket. Theo searches desperately as doors shift and corridors multiply. Ella encounters the stranger with the cane and a dead woman in a tub. Theo finally rescues her, learning from the shopkeeper that the house is cursed, a structure rebuilt by the devil to trap souls. Trying to escape, Theo and Ella walk away, only to return to the house again. That night, Theo admits his past sins. Later, he's drawn back into the house's depths, reliving memories until he meets Stetler, the devil, who reveals himself as Theo's reflection. The house feeds on Theo's guilt. Theo realizes the truth. When his first wife drowned, he chose not to save her. Accepting responsibility, he lets Susanna and Ella leave safely while he remains behind. The house is listed for rent once more, ready to claim new souls. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.